Hola and welcome everybody to Monday Night Fire Shrike. And we're going to start off here. And we get Ashira kind of like walking down the sort of the hallway on the Blue Ember, which is in space dock right now because it's being retrofitted and there's still some materials that haven't arrived yet for the sensors and the power core and things like that. But you're kind of walking down the hall and you're coming from engineering. You just had to have a meeting with Kolnak and Vector, and it kind of gave you a headache because the two of them, there's no with Whistle Fizz with the Fire Shrike. Both of them are sharing the lead responsibilities there, and whereas they're both super good at what they do, but like Kolnak is very much like an old school mechanic that's, it's all about the love you put into it, whereas
Yeah.
Vector is very clinical in his approach, and it causes a lot of strain with the engineering crew because they've got two different leads that approach things two different ways, and when you have to interact with them, they're probably it's kind of a little bit of a headache because they're a little at odds sometimes. Um, but the first, as you're kind of walking down, maybe you're looking at the schematics for like the new sensors that are going to be getting installed. Like the materials for them haven't arrived yet, but they're
Yeah.
an upgrade on what you had. And because you're dealing with like the communications and sensors, it's kind of been passed up to you. Like, hey, these are the specifications of what you're going to have to work with. And kind of as you're walking down the way, um, you kind of have this moment where like you look up and you realize uh, Nurx is walking down the hallway, and it occurs to you this is not where her quarters are, and you're not close to the bridge and whatnot. I mean, you're not really terribly. She could be going to the tech lab, but the tech lab is being worked on right now is being refitted right now, also, and kind of being used as storage for the other rooms that are being refitted. So, like, she kind of sees you, and she's like, uh, looks around for a second, and then just kind of shrugs. She's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh. A lot. A lot, Nerks. We need to have a girl tonight.
I wish I could. Going out on a mission. Captain sent Cream Puff and me to deal with some information
Wait,
stuff.
who the shit is Cream Puff?
Your friend, Cream Puff.
My friend?
Yeah,
God,
the
have I?
schoolgirl.
You know what? I haven't drank in days. That's my problem.
You
Okay.
had a different level of space diarrhea.
I had space diarrhea.
Space diarrhea.
No, I did not have space diarrhea.
Too much space tequila.
Not enough, apparently. Okay, so you're going on a mission. You're going without me?
Cap
That's
said
correct.
Cap said you were busy, said it was a two-person job, and said he was sending me and Cream Puff. I tried to get at least Kolnak to go. I mean, I know he can take a hit. Can't hit the broadside of a barn, but he can take a hit. And like, and she kind of shrugs her shoulders. And she's like, "What are you doing down here?"
I don't know.
All right.
I don't really remember Cream Puff. Why?
That's Vesa. That's what she calls Vesa.
Okay, that's why I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I was like, who the fuck is Cream Puff?
Yeah, you've heard her call. That's all she calls Vesa. Cream Puff.
Wait, why is she Cream Puff?
Because she doesn't think Vesa can handle herself in a fight. She doesn't think Vesa belongs here. You picked up on this a long time ago.
Did you forget about Princess? And whatever other horrible pronouns she's used for other people that she thinks are wimps. What does she call Cyril? Or not Cyril? Sander.
I don't remember.
I think she just. I don't know that she has a nickname for him because they haven't really interacted a ton.
Yeah, I don't remember one.
You know, I think that Xander, because he's so tied up in his research, really hasn't gotten the wrath yet.
Okay.
necessarily. She's kind of been a lot more. He's been more out of Nurx's way. Vase is kind of like upfront in a lot of. She's like always involved in stuff, you know. So
Okay. All right. So, all
Like,
right. Go
yeah.
do your shit. It's fine. We'll hook up later.
she's like, she's like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah. She goes, all right. She's like, uh, we're taking out that new. Actually, did you use the
What?
Jezzet on? Zai, did you use the
Oh.
Jezzet on the sensors and stuff in the light freighter as well? Is that
Definitely the light freighter, yes.
The Tempest?
okay? No,
No,
there's a light freighter. So you guys actually have 4 ships. The Blue Ember
Oh
cannot
my
land
God.
on planet. No, the Blue
No,
Ember cannot
no.
land
All
on
right.
planet.
Yeah, the Blue
So
Ember is too big to land on planet, and I asked if I could make it 1 level less so I could have something to fly us to the planet. And when we looked at the rules, he's like, apparently we did the math wrong last time, and you could have another ship. And I'm like, so can I have a level 8 light freighter? And he's like, technically yes. And I went, maximum shields.
Oh my God.
well, see, the purpose of it is that he has a shuttle bay now on the Blue Ember, and it's for getting your asses back and forth to planet surface since you can't land the Blue Ember.
Right, and it has a mining laser on it. That's its thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he made a ship to be able to get back and forth to and from planet when necessary.
Right.
Because the
In
Fire
fact,
Shrike is elsewhere, and the
it,
Fire
it
Shrike
is
is elsewhere, and
so
the Tempest
nice
is still
that
being built.
that's where Zai is going to sleep from now on.
He's just not even gonna sleep on the Blue Ember. He's just sleep on the fucking new Spitfire.
Mm.
Because yes, the new light freighter is called the Spitfire.
Yep, we
Yeah.
got it back. It
Dun,
has
da,
a
da,
purple dragon.
da.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think Nurx. Yeah, so Nurx probably looks at you and she's like, "I'd take the new Spitfire out, but they're still working on the power core and the sensors and stuff. So
Okay.
I
Right,
guess
that
I'm
should
gonna
be
take
here
the shuttle
eventually.
down." Yeah, she's like, "I guess we're taking a shuttle down.
Alright,
We'll
well,
be
we
back
have that
as soon as
loner,
the mission's
so
over." Well, yeah, you do have the loner that
Zai,
Terry
you're not there. Quit talking.
He's right.
Shut up. It's not your scene.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
fine. I'm like, fine, and I hang up my comms.
Write your shit down and then ask in a minute. Fucking
I love
A.
you too.
Yeah. But yeah,
Fantastic.
I think she probably is like, she's like, huh, before I go though, I want to show you something. And she kind of like walks, she's like, follow me.
Okay.
She kind of takes off. She walks you down like a couple of different junctions and corridors.
And I would 100%
Yeah.
follow her because I just, I never would suspect her of anything.
Right. Well,
Look at-
is she goes and she's like, this is a section that's generally uninhabited because it's a big ship. You can have up to 100 people here, and you're not near 100 people. And she like comes to a room and like punches in a security code, and it opens up. And when you look inside, she has decked the place out like a studio. She's like, my new sound room wasn't being used for anything else, so I decided this is where I was going to produce my music. She's like, what do you think?
Looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, she's got it decked out. She's got like instruments and fucking recording. Like
Damn.
bed. Yeah, the bed is like completely pushed up against the wall and like on its side and whatnot because there's like crates of like sound equipment and shit everywhere and instruments and whatnot.
How,
Who?
where do you sleep?
In my quarters. This is just where I put the sound. This is just my sound.
Why is there even a bed in here then?
Nowhere else to put it.
Throw it out. Who's gonna come against you, Dirks? It's come on. Who would go? You know what? I'm taking this bed from you, and you be mean to you.
She's like, I don't know. I didn't even think about throwing it out. I mean, it's not in the way where it's at.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, if it's not in your way, then don't worry about it. It's all good.
She's like, Uh, and she's like, when I come back up, I'll show. She's like, when I come back up, I'll show you how the computer system works in here. I've got it all
Hey.
wired. And,
Ashira's like she's okay, but she's kind of putting on a front, and I don't think anyone's noticed because she's a little fucking depressed at the moment
mhm.
because she kind of feels like she's really good at hacking and she's really good at computers, but then there's people who do that, so then what's the point? And then so she doesn't get to do that stuff. And then she was captain. She didn't want to be captain. She was captain of that ship, and then that kind of started it because it was just full of NPCs. And now she's like, okay, I'm back with everybody. It'll be fine. But like, just for the records, she's not in a good place.
Yeah. Nurx would probably pick up on that, and she'd be
Yeah.
like, she's like, she's like, look, when I get back from this mission, we'll I've got a special batch made up. We'll pop it open and we'll just hang out.
Okay.
She's like, and I promise I'll try to keep Cream Puff alive.
You know she has a name.
Yeah, she hasn't earned it.
Okay. I love
She
you
kind
so
of turns
much.
and walks out. She just kind
Yep.
of turns and walks up. She's like, see you when they're back.
Yep. Bye.
Waving over her shoulder.
Fuck.
Fucking, uh, yeah. And I think I want to kind of go, pitch over to, actually, I'll pitch over to Vesa here in a minute, but
Yeah,
like
give her a
maybe as
minute.
you're
Vesa
like,
is MIA at the moment.
No, I'm here. I'm
yeah,
here now.
Okay.
no,
Oh, okay,
well, I
dear.
kind
We
of,
thought you were gone.
Can I ask
Sorry.
something
Kinda
before we
wanted-
switch it off of me or whatever?
Sure.
What?
I actually was gonna stick with you for a minute, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
as
Because
there's
I'm
more
like
to-
not sure
there's
what I'm
still more
supposed to be
to
doing
it,
right
but
now.
no. Well, right now you're probably in the middle of whatever official duties as like dealing as like head of your department would be. So,
Yeah.
if you're dealing with a personnel problem, maybe that's what you're going to do, or maybe you're going to check on like the progress with like something with some of the computer equipment. you know I mean, there could be any number of things. You could be going to have a meeting with somebody else who's a department head for something that has to do with where your department intersects. I could see you easily having something to talk about with Qualu,
Yeah.
as head of security, or obviously there's always a reason to talk to Captain Zai to bring him up to date on whatever is going on in your department, and what have you.
Okay.
um, and that's not even to mention the fact that there's still plenty of NPCs around that you could potentially bother, some of which would be receptive to it. Others might be like, what are you doing? like
Exactly.
um, but I mean, what do you think Ashira is up to right now? Where is she? What's her next point of where is she going to?
Honestly, I think like she's not the type of person that wants to like if she's in her head, like I was explaining earlier, she's like gonna try to keep people from seeing that. But there's no escape
Right.
from Nurx
You're
because
on the
Nurx
wrong.
just knows her too well.
Yeah, they've been friends for.
That doesn't mean she's
Glad
not gonna
Rex
try.
not there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rex not here, so
Yeah.
yeah.
He'd be like,
So-
Shashira, something's wrong.
I'll probably be just kind of going through the motions. I mean, because it's not going to get the problem solved until somebody really tries to be like, hey, but that could
Right.
be a while. So she's just kind of doing what she's told, and she's just doing her job. And then at the end of the day, she's go to her quarters, and she's got coffee in there and everything. She just kind of sticks to herself.
So maybe we get like a small montage of this,
Yeah.
and like and at some point we see you go back up to the office because maybe like there's like this like a shot of like you realizing there's something at the office you need to do, and what
Yeah.
have you. As you're walking back down that way, like of course you pass by the people who probably wouldn't bother you too much,
Yeah.
as far as it goes. You do probably have to grin and bear your way through a brief encounter talking to Rulia, because she just kind of is around the ship right now while she's waiting for the ship she's supposed to be on to be built. Um, but other than that, and you get back to your office, or you get back to the office, and you see that like two of the communications and sensor crew people are there, and they're arguing. And they're arguing, and for whatever fucking reason, Pluiga is standing there talking to the both of them. They both seem pretty upset. And they both start looking as soon as you walk into the office, like walk onto the, towards your office, they kind of look over, like act like they're going to start walking over to like immediately. It's that, ah, shit, now I got to deal with this kind of bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a moment where like Plu like stops both of them and they exchange a few words, and the two of them kind of look at each other like angrily and look at Plu, and then they just take off. They both kind of like leave. Plu kind of walks over and he's like, "Oh, hi, Ashira. I didn't know you were going to be back in this evening. I mean, I was just kind of taking care of like holding down the fort, in case people came in, kind of like those two, and had something they were doing, and just kind of was it, you know, you know how it is. And one of them wants to know what their shift is going to be like. The other one wants to switch to a different department. The yada yada yada. I just kind of told them, hey, maybe talk about this in the morning. This is a little bit of after hours. Speaking of which, you're here awful late. What can I do? Is there something you need help with?"
She just
Kind of
awkwardly
like this
kind of looks so
purple
weird.
fucking this bright purple fucking Skitterman. Just
It's just, listen, I'm 100% in for Skittermanders, but if I'm to that. She's like at a point where that doesn't even phase her. That's how bad.
Yeah. He's
Because she tried to kidnap the last one.
yeah, kind of.
Be my pet. No. Damn it.
He's just kind of like, he's like, okay, he's like, and he's like, I tell you what, how about, I know, and he goes, give me a second, and he goes and he runs off, and maybe you go to your computer and start parsing through whatever like data you've got to parse through, sort of like the readings, the last readings that you took or whatever. And after a while, you're kind of sitting there, and he comes back with a cup of coffee, just piping fucking hot. You have no idea how he managed to get it from the mess hall to here this hot, but somehow he did. And he sets it down in front of you, and he's like, "Here, maybe that'll help you think." I know it always helps me think. I love a good cup of coffee. He was like, I should have got myself a cup of coffee. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get myself a cup.
Stop. You do not need any more coffee. Stop right there.
He's like, okay, no coffee. You have something else for me to do? What can I do? He's like,
oh my God.
Nobody's really giving me anything to do. I'm bored.
I know. Do you like cleaning?
He's like, sure, I can do that.
I don't think anyone else is doing it.
Nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, it just really needs done.
Well,
Nobody.
and this is about the time that this is about the time that Bucket like goes through the back of the scene just slowly. Calm, deep breathing. Here, listen to some soothing rain noises.
Oh, fuck,
and then there's just rain noise. Bucket just like in the background.
Just accept your fate. It's done. Jesus Christ.
He's like, so you want me to help Bucket then? All right, I can do that.
Okay, yeah, help Bucket.
Runs off to help Bucket clean.
Fucking like having a goddamn hyper chihuahua at me.
Well, he's a Skittermander. He's a very
They
typical
can't all
Skittermander
possibly be like that.
99%.
Okay, find me the one.
I don't know if you've actually read the actual statistics, but they literally have a special ability called Hyper because they are
God.
hyper.
Nuts.
once per day they can take an extra move action in combat. This is a thing that they have made a mechanic for because it was so much a part of their personality.
Yeah, they're all like, "Can I
Yeah,
help you? Can I help you? Can I help you?
yeah.
How about now? How about now?"
Oh my god. Can I
Can I
have,
confirm?
is it like the barkless dog version? I want that one. We can make it happen. We have the equipment.
Did
Sorry,
you say the barfless dog version?
barkless?
Okay.
Barkless. Well, I don't want
No.
him barfing either.
Well,
Oh, that's fine because now we got a
I don't.
housekeeper.
Well, I mean, he just wants to be. He just wants to be helpful. You
He's
know,
being very helpful.
Pluto tends to up to this point, pretty much everybody really they've dealt with Plu has just given him busy work to do. So he's just like looking for shit to do. He's bored. um. All right, and I think we will switch over to Vesa from here, because Vesa, you are you're like maybe you're waiting for Nurks to show up at the shuttle down to the grounds, and finally she shows up, and she's kind of like maybe she gives shit to a couple of the sort of like flight crew people, the deck crew people that like refuel the ships and what have you.
Yeah.
Gives a couple of them some shit. Seems to have done like built up that sort of like a similar sort of a rapport with them.
Mhm.
And she's but as she walks up and gets closer to you, she's like, "All right, Green Puff, let's go do this." And she's like, and she kind of like has that sort of like, "Let's get this over with" attitude.
Vesa is mirroring that fucking attitude. Just like, yeah, all right, let's go.
And she's just like,
Handle this fucking shit, Jesus.
Before you
"Oh,
leave,
Mm-hmm.
take this just in case to go out alone. And I hand you a really weird grenade. It looks like it has rainbow colors on one side and sparkles on the other.
And I love it. Thank you. What does it do?
It depends. I
Okay.
wonder what it might do.
Okay.
yeah." So we just
Okay.
gave you a wonder grenade.
A
Yeah.
wonder grenade. Okay. So
Right.
she's gonna stick
If you
it in
decide
her
to throw
satchel.
it, tell me because I already have it built in, so I can just push the button for him.
Okay, I will. You might want to remind me that I have it too, because I feel like we'll get into some shit and then be like, fuck, what do I? And you'd be like, I wonder what would happen. Okay, yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
This is
welcome.
very exciting. Are you absolutely sure you want to send us together? You think this is going to jive okay? And I give her such hard side eye. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, she's.
I think at you. Yeah, I think it's the only way she's not going to end up killing you.
and then I'm going to
And
think
then out
back
loud
at you.
I say,
I'm almost.
"All right, goodbye."
Oh, shit.
And then you say, "What?" You can still think of me. I just said that out loud though.
Okay, I'm almost willing to let her to be rid of her.
That's not how it works. She'll haunt you in the afterlife.
She probably would. So, okay, fine.
Oh.
All right, and then I'm gonna think at you. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, don't get killed.
Well, sure. I mean, tips for dealing with this kind of super bitchy goblin girl who is actually adorable. Like, I really would like her if she wasn't such a bitch.
Well, all right. I'm gonna tell you a short story. Once I had to rescue a friend of Slef's ship that was breaking apart, and the other prisoners were like, "Well, what about us?" And I was like, "Well, live." And then me and Slef's friend ran away and did not die on the ship.
That's the whole
So
story?
you're on your own.
Okay.
Watch her back, and she'll watch yours.
Okay.
She has orders.
Okay.
I think. Well, I think Nurks actually kind of like looks at you, goes, "Whatever telepathic communication you guys are having right now, can we speed this up?" Like,
And I think at her, penis, 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 penis.
she just shakes her head. She was like, "It was only funny the first time."
All right. Anyway, good luck to you both.
Thanks.
And she just kind of grabs her gear and fucking and goes off to the shuttle and jumps and like boards the shuttle.
I'm gonna just go. Fine. I'm ready.
So there is a and I'm assuming that like the Zai probably passed this along, but there is like like the better detailed information. You are meeting a member of the Pulonis Liberation Front named Swak.
Okay.
And you are supposed to be tracking down a Vesk named Gulk, who has information that the Plunis Liberation Front and the Hidden Hand really want.
Can I
So,
interrupt really quick?
yes,
I swear to God, I thought you just called them Squawk and Gulp.
no.
And I wish
Squawk
that was
and Gulk.
true.
In a
Right.
game where maybe in an apocalypse world game, all right.
Hey, there's 2 new NPCs that are going to show up on Saturday. They better, or else I'll show up with 2 characters named Squawk and Gulp.
Hey,
I
we would
dare
love
you.
for you to be in Waterworld,
Please. It'd be
but
wonderful.
we also understand that you need to sleep.
Yes.
I mean, the name Gulp would work really well in Waterworld.
It would.
Mhm.
For someone who
Yeah,
can't
you know.
swim.
Oh.
So
Or someone that was born with gills.
So
Oof.
to confirm,
Anyway.
I'm meeting with Swak
Confirm.
from the Plutonus Liberation Front,
for-
and I'm looking for a Vesk named Gulk. And what's the last thing you said? I'm sorry, I'm writing it down.
that Gulk, the Vesk Gulk, has information that both the Polonus Liberation Front and the Hidden Hand want to have. He's got
Okay.
information they want and
And
need.
those are people that we're gathering information for.
Okay.
They're the ones that told Zai on a show of good faith that that his ambassador he was looking for had a hidden agenda, or at least a
Okay.
secret mission anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, but I think as you kind of getting on board and whatnot, like she just pretty much goes directly over to the flight controls, and she doesn't really say anything or say anything to you about what you should be doing. She just decided she's just gonna pilot. Like there's a station for you to run science controls or whatever if you wanted to, but she doesn't seem to really care one way or another.
I'm not really a sciencey person. I'm more of like a
You have computers.
do I? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can do it. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be great, but I could do it.
Right. It's probably more, and maybe running from sitting down in that station kind of puts you like more in direct control of the communications. If you weren't sitting there, she could still access them if she needed to, but you sitting there
Mhm.
like puts you directly at the communication controls
Okay.
and whatnot. So,
Cool.
this is probably more important for like you're probably the one that's communicating with ground tower to, as far as landing and stuff when you get back down, that when you get back to ground,
Okay. I
and
can
what
do
have
that.
you.
Okay.
And that you're supposed to meet in Swak, you're actually supposed to meet at Wettig's Wetners, which Captain Zai has actually been to. It's a Skittermander bar.
Okay. Weddings.
You're gonna have to, you'll feel really tall.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll definitely want to tie your antennae down.
I mean, they do them. they sort of just flow in the wind. I can't control them. Okay. So I'll plop down. Can I see her? Can I
See her for where she's sitting? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
the chair is a little bit big, but she adjusts it, to where, and it's not like she hasn't flown ships with controls that were meant for somebody of a larger size before anyway.
Okay.
She actually quite. She doesn't matter if the controls are built for her, someone of her size. She can still fly.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm gonna kick back in
I
this chair. I'm
just
gonna throw my
imagine.
leg. Hmm?
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
It's not
please.
important.
Okay.
No, I was
Um.
imagining Nurks with like books tied to her feet so she could touch the panels.
Oh, poor thing.
All right, go on.
I'm gonna kick back, and I'm gonna kick my legs up on this communication panel. Like I'm not gonna hit any buttons. I'm just gonna, kick back and chill. And out of my bag, I'm going to pull some tasty snacks. And I'm just gonna lean back and watch her fly this fucking ship
Yep.
as I eat this fucking food. And it's tasty. It smells
Yep.
fucking good. Everybody likes it.
You know that
Right.
Nurks is a gourmet cook, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She is
I'll be
a
right back.
master of many, many, many talents.
She not only does she make the best booze in the verse, she's also a gourmet chef.
Well, she probably won't like my shitty road snacks then. Whatever.
Well, I mean,
But
doesn't mean that you're not good. It just means that it just means that fucking she probably could identify what you made. Like,
Oh, yeah,
huh.
no, that's
She'd be
fine.
like,
I'm actually
huh,
kind of
eh,
hoping to entice her to where she might want some. And I could be like, gonna stop being a bitch? I'll give you some if you stop being a bitch. And, just peace offering with chow. So,
she pretty much drinks her dinner.
oh, good
Like
to know.
she'll
Good to know.
literally, like at least right now anyway. Like she she drinks from her flask takes a few drinks from her flask on the flight down to the surface.
Okay, cool.
Um, but that doesn't seem to be anything new. And from what you've
Okay,
observed, that's just normal behavior.
yes. Can can we cut from me? I have to step away again. I'm
Sure.
sorry.
Yes,
Thank you.
sure.
I'm sorry.
I do actually want to cut over real quick to Captain Zai because I would like to remind Captain Zai at this point, as far as information goes, you have a card you haven't played yet. You had Lady Sonnet following Isaki and Bazik around for an awful long time. You're pretty sure she's probably got at least some information at this point that you might be relatively useful.
excellent. This will be everyone's first time of hearing her actually speak. Lady Sonnet, tell me stuff.
Actually, she's spoken once or twice before. She just doesn't do it often. So I
All
think
right,
it's
she's the
maybe.
silent Bob of our verse. Got it.
So, do you have her meet you somewhere like your office, or do you keep it more private,
Ooh.
some quarters somewhere on the ship, like maybe unused quarters or your quarters, or meet her at hers or something? How do you set this up? Is this
Uh,
something that you set up as a private meeting, or is this something that you're like, I don't care if people know I'm having a private meeting with Lady Sonnet.
I was gonna say, so yeah, we'll go to one of the empty quarters that's neither mine
Okay,
nor hers.
right. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so there's these quarters that nobody is using. Um and you're kind of sitting there. Lady Sonnet is there and
I was
she's
about to
like,
say, there's no chance of me actually noticing her unless I get a natural 20, so that doesn't see shit.
well, it's not like she's constantly hiding. She hides when she wouldn't be hiding in because she's not trying to shadow you like you're the
I'll give
captain.
you
So
that. All right.
she's like,
Hello.
she's like, first of all, I'd like to talk about my status here. I have not been assigned to a particular department, and it's a thing that I am okay with.
Mm.
As you have, she was like, I don't mind pulling the occasional shift on whatever staff needs to be done, but I think I prefer to work this way, reporting
You
directly
mean
to
what we've been
yourself.
doing for the last 6 months? Okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
technically, we can make your own special unit, but I'd still say that
she's like,
the only other person that you would answer to would be, who can I put in charge that would be a safety net? If for some reason I were to fucking die, then you would report directly to Twinkle.
And she nods and she's like, I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy with the current arrangement, reporting directly to you.
It makes
She
it
says,
fun.
she says, she's like, as for our reptilian guests, they are not exactly who they say they are. They do not worship Nyarlathotep. They worship Zon Kuthon. It's a bit of a
Nice.
splitting of hairs, but it's a bit of a splitting of hairs, but I imagine it may make a difference in what their potential motivations might be. They are Bazik is exactly what he seems to be. He is a wall of muscle and violence, and that is all that he is. Isaki has insights that she is not sharing with anyone, but that's to be expected. After following them for some time, I believe that they will continue to operate as they have until whatever their end game is begins to approach. And they won't likely give up anything about what their end game is until such time as it is close. I would recommend keeping an eye on them. If they are to transfer to the Tempest, you may want to assign somebody who can be unobtrusive to keep an eye on them. They won't leave Xander's side. What I've learned of him, he seems to check out and be exactly who he says he is and what he says for
Nice.
the most part. He did make contact with someone on Vesk Prime. They appeared to be a Vesk, but if one looked closely, they weren't. They were an android. They went somewhere and had a meeting. I would have followed, but my orders were to stay with Isaki and Bazik. What may have happened during that brief time where he had disappeared, I cannot say. But it's clear that he is also holding things back from Isaki and Bazik. He trusts them no more than you or I.
Didn't he tell us that he was with the android abolitionist? Is that true, Xander? Do I know that?
I don't think I told anybody that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think.
Well, I've had other friends that were androids be in it, so that probably doesn't worry me too much. But go on.
Right.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure.
I thought I saw your tattoo. And we talked about it.
Well,
That is
there.
well, yeah, but
possible.
you're his girlfriend.
Well, the
I
tattoo.
mean,
Well, the tattoo. Well, the tattoo disappears when it's like he can activate it to be visible. But so if he didn't have it activated, but I don't know if he activated it around you or not.
I don't remember now.
Um, in any case, Lady Sonnet continues. Kind of continues. She's like, they're Isaki would be the more dangerous of the two of them. Although I'm certain you could figure that one out on your own. She also says, I'd also like to note I have my suspicions about that nurse jerked us all. The access that she and Dr. Deishborg were given while they were here was pretty unrestricted, and she did seem to be in a few areas that were security weak points.
I guess. I mean, I think. What is the current DC to like get through security? 35.
So I think so, something like that.
So it's possible she's that good.
So
But I guess he did have open access to most of the crew records. I trust everyone as much as I do. Anyway.
Like she's like, as for the nurse Jerkdazal, I would have loved to have followed her a bit more, but again, my orders were, the Vesk. However, She is good. There were times where she seemed to sense my presence. Can't
Hmm,
be sure, but it wasn't worth it to continue observing at the time, given objectives and priorities.
I see. Well, thank you for all this information. It's good to know some things about them. It also explains why they keep giving me money now.
So, like, yeah, she's kind of like, it also explains why Bazik only accepted enough healing to be on his feet to get here and has refused any healing since.
Mm. Yes, true.
Because that is a thing Bazik did. After his gladiatorial match, he accepted just enough healing to get on his feet to get back to the ship, and then chose to lay in suffering in his room.
Mm.
I suspect he will. I suspect Isaki will have him in fighting form if the need arises, but he seems to be choosing to
Kill
undergo
naturally.
the agony. He also seems to be healing much more rapidly than most of the rest of us do.
Mm.
A veritable specimen.
Well, that's exactly why you're on him, my dear.
She kind of nods. She says, "I will continue surveillance until they move to the new ship. After which, whoever you have tailing them will, I'm certain, will take over. And whatever mission you have for me above and beyond from that point, I will be available for."
Word.
Yeah,
Huh. Thank you, Lady Sonnet. Go do your thing.
yeah, and just because I want, I want to see how effective this is. Eh, she shall melt into the shadows.
Mm.
Melts into the shadows and goes back to her surveillance. Um, and I want to get, and this is about the time that like maybe you get an alert that
Whoop,
there
whoop,
you
whoop.
get an alert that there is a um, that your that the person delivering your the delivery of Jezit is going to make it to the space docks. Has made it to the space docks, and the and Chorus's people are waiting to meet with you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I put on my best cape and we go that way.
All right. All right. So Oliver Byrne. We come in on Oliver Byrne, and let's get a physical description of Oliver Byrne, and also the sniper that is with him, because we have never seen these characters on this show before.
Yeah. All right. Your the first detail that catches your eye is there is a literal fucking bear
Like on all fours?
on all fours, just walking through. Where are we right now? Are we on the
You're
ship?
in
Are we on
a
the dock?
you're in a space dock. The Blue Ember is docked here, and the shuttle that you came in with the Jesuit is here as well. They were
Okay.
independent contractors. You were in charge of the actual materials, but the ship was just sort of transporting you and the materials
Okay.
and
Yeah. He's
the sniper. So
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
He's
literal
kind of
bear
just
walking.
yeah, and he's wearing a kind of armor because I really didn't set that up because I really wasn't sure what to go with.
right.
Something that looks neat and fits. And on
Are you
top of
still
that, he's wearing a lab coat.
Yes. Awesome.
So
I
A
love
he's
lab
it.
just a
coat
lab
over
coat
armor.
draped.
Got it.
Yeah, just a lab coat draped
Yes.
over him. And on his forehead, I can switch to him now. Boom! He's got a little device that seems to be attached to his forehead. And yeah, he's just kind of not growling, just kind of grunting people aside. Just move. out of my way. And there's, I guess, on his back right now would be another character.
You said you're on all fours though, so you're actually walking like a regular bear.
Yes, right now he's walking like a regular bear. He is an actual bear.
All right, well, I just wanted to make sure because
yes.
in that case, riding on its back, grabbing a hold of a tuft of hair like a Mustang, is a 14-inch tall radish with a beautiful red plume of petal head, carrying the biggest snow you've ever seen on somebody that's only 14 inches tall. And yeah.
Oh, you grew 2 inches.
Yeah. I had a growth spurt while we came.
Oh God. Yeah, and you're kind of like you're kind of doing your thing, and Zai, do you bring anybody with you to meet the to pick up this stuff? Do you bring any of like your unfulfilled crew or any of your command crew or anybody?
I think
You've got muscle.
yeah, but so I'd want a shear there because it deals with upgrading stuff that will help her. And Tixpit, of course, is my shadow. And unfulfilled, sure they can come. Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking about my Kasasan refugees?
Yeah, yeah.
I keep forgetting that they have that subletting sometimes. Subheading. Yes, the unfulfilled can do my light work, but
yeah,
I'll still be there. And definitely, if I see a bear, I'm going to be like, Ashira, is that a bear?
Yep. You do see a bear with a lab coat on and armor.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, she's holding on to the lab coat, not actual bear hair. Either way,
his head
if you
is,
stand
well,
up though, I
so.
can get in your lab coat pocket.
That is true.
Real quick, how do you change your avatar on Roll20?
You change your name. There's a little drop down box where as, and just change the as to your character that you want to be. By someone who swaps.
Are you talking about your picture or your name?
The picture.
Yeah. Change
picture,
the as.
You're gonna want to find.
So you're gonna go to the bio tab, and then you're gonna click edit, and then there's gonna be an area where you can upload a PNG or all the other visual formats.
Yeah, I that one I have. I've uploaded it there, but for my avatar, like in chat
in
here,
Roll20.
Roll20.
I have to back out and go to my profile.
No. Just change.
Listen to him.
Yeah, under the chat box, there it says as, and then whatever your current name is. Just click that drop down, select your character, and it will change your portrait.
Oh, nice.
So you can switch to like I can be the Fire Shrike.
No shit, that's.
And I can type as I am the Fire Shrike.
Okay, but how does the picture change?
It just changes automatically when you swap, as long as that character sheet has a picture on it.
No.
Oh, that's weird. Does Nah have a picture?
Yes.
Even on the drop down bar, there's going to be two Naws. You're going to have to find the one that's further down on the bar because the one at the top is your.
Hold on.
So it is.
I think I know what the problem might be.
We got him.
When
He's
you
there.
go to. Okay, there you go. Oh, good. All right.
Thank you.
All righty.
Sorry to derail that.
Sweet. No, you're good. Yeah, so you see you guys see Ashira, being that you're with, you also see this bear in a lab coat walking towards you guys.
At this point, I'm not surprised.
No, and there's a tiny Raxolite girl.
Yeah.
With a big
brigantine. Just kidding.
Yeah. So you know what Zai looks like, Oliver. You've seen enough newsreels, and they also gave you picture just because they were like, yeah, you probably don't need this, but here in case you do. You know?
Right. There aren't giant like pictures of me in the Zapital.
Yeah, there probably are. Well, there's not. I don't think there's giant pictures of much of anything. They've been focusing on like the infrastructure before artwork at this point.
Man, don't make me
um,
go home so I can put up statues of myself for a month. All right.
I guess
um,
carbon skin is what I'd be wearing. It's level 10 armor, or I could do freebooter armor.
So you can,
right on.
yeah, I mean, and armor than that. So if you got the money.
I don't.
Yeah. So
do I know this is who's supposed to be coming, or am I just surprised to see the bear?
I don't know that they told you who they were sending. I think they just told you they were going to be Chorus was going to be sending, a couple of people to, sort of manage, delivering the Jesuit to you.
All right, I hold up a sign that says Oliver Byrne.
Yeah, I probably see that. I hope. Do I need a roll perception or?
Well, actually, you see Zai himself, and
Oh,
that's who
right,
you're
right.
supposed to be delivering to. Yeah, Well, I mean,
Right.
even sign or no sign, you've already seen him. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, because they're like, here you go. This is what he looks like, and you've seen plenty of newsreels. He's kind of famous.
Yeah.
So
Kinda.
infamous is the case,
Infamous.
maybe. So, but yeah.
He's
And you also see Ashira, who rumor says is unkillable.
Yeah.
That's what magic
I just
does.
kinda stomp my way over. Dum, 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 dum. And yeah, I'll approach Captain's Eye, and in your mind, because I am a bear, I can't really form words that well. I just love saying that. You hear I see you were looking for me.
Oh, is this how it's going to be? Hello. I guess you have some cargo for me?
That is correct. We do.
Excellent. We?
Kind of like nudge my head up to the tiny little thing sitting on me.
All right. She is just sitting there completely stunned, like, and has absolutely nothing to say. Just like a wide open mouth of awe.
And what is her name again?
Yeah. Okay.
Or do I know it? Has she even talked to me?
Like, completely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on your back right now. Of course I've talked to you.
That is true.
I'm Zerfa.
I don't know, man.
Oh, what do you mean you don't know? I can hear you.
I know.
Don't ride on unfamiliar.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the Jesuit is in the cargo hold, and it's easy enough to be like, yeah, we'll have the unfulfilled go, unload it and move it back and what have you.
So,
but they're just kind of waiting for orders.
What are you doing after this?
To be honest,
I'm talking to you,
not
Oliver.
quite sure.
You're not quite sure?
Yeah, he haven't really made any plans yet. I just got off planet.
Okay, well, bye.
The end.
So, oh man. So Chorus sent you. Tell me about what's happening on Planet Zai. Let's go. Is there boards here?
No, it's just a space dock. It's purely a functional sort of place.
All right, so that means we're drinking hooch or whatever I have on hand, since I don't technically drink hooch again.
All right, so 2 questions. Have I been on Planet Zai?
you were on planet Patella for quite some time.
Right.
The things that are going to be relevant to him that he's going to want to know about that you can tell him is that the group, the PV and Company group, the people who were warlords and outlaws that were there when Zai first discovered the planet, they have a mobile base. They actually shot at a member of the. They actually shot a member of the menagerie crew when the menagerie crew tried to confront them. They were on the polar caps and they've been moving around, seem to have mobile bases. The Strix have gone full isolationist, don't want to talk to anybody. And the other terrorists and outlaws that came with Zai to planet and helped fight for the independence of the place are, have some settlement somewhere that nobody seems to be able to find. The crew of the menagerie was supposed to find it, but you guys, but
It fell apart.
they hadn't found it by the time they didn't find him by the time that you had stopped to do more biological research, and you don't think they ever did find it, as far as you know.
Okay.
But as far as it goes, they're working on infrastructure in New Bluff Point, and that's kind of the situation there. Oh yeah, and there are scavengers going up, flying up, and taking a lot of the debris from the battle with the Hell Knights and selling it back to the corporations.
So what I'm hearing is everything's gone to pot since Tizzard left.
Everything's gone to pot because Captain Zai doesn't get to go home and dictate. Yeah.
So wait, what do I call the
warlord? Is a different
like a
universe.
Pretty standard front.
How did you
Frontier
call
sounds like a pretty standard scavenger / frontier planet. You know, just like everyone's scavenging, everyone hates each other. There's a lot of death. You know.
Right.
Sounds like Kansas for the first 50 years.
It sounds like Kansas now.
So.
Oof.
Huh.
I do refer to the planet name that he said. Not Zai.
Yeah,
I can't.
So
it's planet Patella, and you are
Planet
Patella, and you are planet Patella, and they actually, you are aware that you are aware that due to the efforts of corporate lawyers working on the behalf of Zai, did manage to get sovereignty recognized with the pact rules, but only so that they could sanction Patella. That there's sovereignty being worked on in various other places. You don't know a whole lot about the cases. You had heard rumors that PV and Company had filed some motion to dispute Zai's claim to the planet, but you're not terribly, abreast of that, all of that. You kind of know about it. You know about it, but you don't,
So, Oliver, what is your skill set? What do you do besides deliver cargo?
All things medical. I can tear someone down, build them back together, and study the mind, study the body, whatever I need.
Right. Roll call right now. How many people are doctors? Like 11 of us? Interesting. Well, and your specialty is what? Life science?
No. All three. Biotechnician is my true career.
Interesting. Well, I can always use another one of those. Hey, I was needing a new guy because Shaba wants to keep all my people. Fucking Shaba.
I don't know if I want to.
We have not negotiated that yet.
Right. I'm still not sure because, I did do time in prison with Glycil. You and I made out, but Glycil and I did prison time. All right.
How do I know you two didn't make out in prison?
I mean, it was
you could ask him. He'd tell you.
I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
The answer is definitely no, but I was hoping Glycil would have said it. What are you talking about? I'm not into Pisothans.
Like, I'm not into that cross-species stuff. I know that sounds weird coming from me, but really, just personal preference.
The difficulty in creating lubricants that are not dangerous to two different people with two different protein strand bases I mean, most organisms have an amino acid chain, but then you have these dextro amino acid organisms, and that's a whole nother science. We can't even eat the same thing without dissolving our stomachs.
Nerd! I love you so much. So much, James.
Yeah,
right. And what about your friend? We had some problems with the last Raxolite that was on board. So she's probably going to have some difficulties with some of the other crew.
Okay. He was devilishly handsome. He was too handsome for everyone.
All right, say it again.
What is her name?
The funny part is that she's mine, and I still don't remember.
Mahala Zarafa.
Yeah,
no wonder you're.
Yeah, it means lovely flowers in bloom.
This is Mahala Zarafa, an excellent sniper, or so I hear.
Right, like you may not know this, but I can shoot the wing at from like 1,000 yards.
Does she really talk like a valley girl?
She is so valley girl. It hurts.
I buck
90210 for life.
Like for sure.
Oh
For
my
sure.
god, I am such a good
What is happening?
I broke a nail. Someone's gonna fucking die for that.
You know what? You know what this is? This is. I'm sure this is revenge for Oshni.
I love Oshni though.
Whoa. Who's that guy over there?
Do you want me to play her for you? Because I
grew up during the 90s. I can do all day. It's fine.
Bear face, just kind. For a bear to be able to express emotion, it's interesting. But you see, like, just like a sinking in the face, like, oh boy.
What are you talking about, Oliver? You've been listening to me talk like this the whole time.
Oh no, he didn't say that out loud. It was just that was his thought. Like, oh no. There goes our chances of getting.
Oh god.
I'd show you right now, but we're in a space station. I don't need to like fire rounds in here unless I have to.
I see no problem.
I see. Well, if you guys don't have anything better to do, and you can be quiet, you guys can have a place to stay on the Blue Ember for now. You might be reassigned to one of the other ships eventually. And if you do good, eventually we do get paid, I promise.
Eventually we do get paid.
That's a fucking
Do you have a lab?
In fact, honestly, this time I'm about to finish a job, and if you get hired before we finish the job, you'll get paid for this job, even though you were barely there, and mess up everyone else's ratio.
Oh, I'm sure the crew will absolutely love this.
So anyway, report to a large catman named Qualu, and then you'll have some invasive tests done by one of our less esteemed doctors, and then you'll be assigned quarters. And after that, you can find me. Otherwise, there are many places that the ship says you are here, and this is how you get to everywhere else.
I'm sure I will have plenty of tips for this so-called doctor.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it's got to be like Zrenvesh like operating, because I don't think any of the NPCs you have on there right now have medicine. They're all off with Shaba. If any of your PCs have medicine, it might be one of them.
I have. Hang on, I'm not there, but I have 5 whole ranks in medicine.
Oh boy!
No, right now.
Wow, that's for
Zenfaresh, the awesome, has a whole bunch. He's got 10 ranks in mysticism and no ranks in medicine, but he can do, magic all day long.
Pluiga has 2 ranks. Plu has 2 ranks in medicine. It's just
I have 11. I'll give tips.
I have 0 as Gnaw.
No, you hold it like this.
I think if you go if it's Plu in there, probably what happens is you end up examining yourself, and Plu just helps you.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's.
you-
I
he's
literally
just
just
like,
take over. I'm like, give me that device. Even a
Uh,
bear can use this.
okay, so yeah, you're still better at it than Zai, but only by like 3 ranks.
I also have a fully functional 90-foot range medical lab, advanced medical lab on me at all times.
Oh, that's nice. We can use that.
How?
yeah.
He's a biohacker, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is
I love it.
glorious.
He can make drugs for us too.
You know, I was
That
just
is
about to
correct.
ask.
I can make all the drugs. I actually
Actually,
have some Voost on. Well, some poor quality Voost. Slightly used.
yeah.
Eh,
Slightly
it's
used.
alright.
Yeah, straight from the backwaters of Akaton. Not that Akaton has much water, but
Though that is funny when he says that, because right about then we probably get to the med bay and I open up the pharmacy cabinet and I'm like, we're pretty well set. And when I open it, it's all like, hallelujah. And it's just
Drugs.
brimming with everything under the sun. If you name it, it's probably in there, and there might be 3 different strains of whatever it is.
That the stuff Birch made.
No. Remember, we were pretty well set for that before then. I mean, I still have a ridiculous amount of Luxtasy because we don't party like we used to.
yeah.
That is a
I
problem.
still
We
have
need
enough
change that.
Luxtasy left that right now, if the crew was maxed out at 100 people, we could all still do Luxtasy.
Wow.
Zai could throw a hell of a party, huh?
Yes. Yeah, the Keepers of the Secret would be like, whoa, it seems like we missed out on a party that was more epic than ours.
There's
And we all had guns.
Zai and Morty meet, or Zai and Rick have more meet and just have the biggest party in the universe.
Oh, I think that would end fairly well. Get done.
Xander, what exactly are you doing at this point? I kind of want to know what Xander's up to.
Yeah. I want to know what Shaba's doing too.
I know, we'll get there. I'm trying to, work my way
Gosh.
around.
I don't know. I'm just waiting around till the new ship gets in here, and then
All right.
just going over notes, finiting the notes to make sure it flows right and makes sense. If I have to present it or whatever, and just sticking to myself and ironing that out.
That sounded really violent.
I no. The passive violence. I feel like there's probably a moment where, as you're organizing and what have you, like you're going through your notes and whatnot, and kind of waiting. You are also aware that Bazik has opted not to take any a whole lot of healing, simply because he apparently he wants to sit there and suffer for a while. But Isaki has seemed particularly on edge lately, and I think it's probably there's a uh, she's kind of she's like she comes to ask you. She's like is there? She's like, I have questions for you. Have you noticed anything different in the histories, your records? Anything that seems changed or altered in some way, or doesn't seem quite right or fit?
Not really. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. I mean, it kind of jumps here and there, and I'm trying to organize it, and one part might not make sense, but then I look over here and it's like, oh, okay, that goes there, and yeah, it just a compilation, and then we generally get what we need.
Would it? What would happen if? Does your research indicate what would happen if someone tried to use the sifter without no, without the without the knowledge, without training,
The
without the
world
knowledge
ends?
of how.
I'm guessing the world would end. Like the multiverse would end.
Go ahead and give me a physical science check here. You can give me a physical science check, or I think that's probably going to be the most relevant one here, if you're trained in it.
No.
You're not. Let me see here. Let me see what you have that might be relatively close. What might work? So I'd say probably give me a culture check or a computer check here, whatever you want to use.
Whichever's higher.
And we'll just
If I do culture, I get that little D6
Ooh, yeah.
one I thought.
Do it.
yeah, if you've got your skill X, if that's what you get, skill he's 28. All right. Here. All right. So I think what you're finding out here, like maybe look through and having you studied all the different cultural reference points for this thing, and it's gotten dozens of different names just in the recorded history and mythologies that you've found. And it's really most of this stuff is huge mythological research. Like the scientific community would sort of laugh at even researching this, but from the ancient stories and texts that you have found and been able to access, your best guess, all of these scenarios, like all of these mythoses, agree that if one tried to utilize this sifter without the special training and knowledge on how to do so, without the code, then without the infinite code, you won't be able. If you try to access it without the infinite code and use it, the results are unpredictable. Um, they all tend to talk about the idea that if you can't control what you're doing when you're utilizing the sifter, which allows you to parse through realities and take things from one reality and drop them into another, and take things from different time streams, or to keep them separate and codified, if you try to use it without knowing what you're doing and without having the code, what's likely to happen is chaos. You'll get all kinds of random effects you're not looking for. You might try to pick something up in one dimension and put it somewhere else, but you're going to pick something completely else up from a completely different dimension and put it in a totally different dimension. And the same would seem to apply with sort of like the temporal the temporal sort of constants as well. But it's hard to say because the dimensional sifter, depending on the story, alters dimensions or timelines. Some depict that it does both. And if you have access to it and you're doing the shit you're supposed to be doing, it could be all kinds of shit could start happening that shouldn't have happened.
The sifter is my science project.
Right. So that's kind of what you're getting. So if somebody had gotten a hold of it, literally just about anything could happen. Anything from, depending on whether you consider it just a dimensional effect or a temporal one too, different realities could be imposing themselves on each other. Different timelines could be imposing themselves on each other. Different, um, you know, different points in time could be impressing upon each other. So the end result would be it would be really tough to tell what's actually supposed to be and what's not supposed to be.
Almost like there's like a duplicate of two people. type of thought. If it's multiple timelines mushed together, if they used it, there would be like two Xanders on this dimension when technically there's only supposed to be one.
And that compounds the issue of who the Zyker is, because if you're taking the constant of somebody from another dimension being brought, possibly being able to be in this dimension, you're also talking about somebody from another time in this dimension or another dimension that could potentially be in this dimension or any other. There's no way to know who actually belongs in the reality you're in or in the timeline or even in the timeline you're in, unless you have like access to the sifter.
They could be different ages. Okay.
They could be different ages. They could even be the same age, but from completely different points in time. Like they could be from 5 seconds apart. One could be from a timeline where they weren't born until 50 years in the future, and then sent to a completely different time in a different dimension.
Man, that's actually worse than evil in here. All right, I'll deal with that later.
So it could be potentially just about anything. But she's kind of pressing you on this question. Like,
okay, so what I would tell her is if somebody attempted to use the device, there is no known factor to tell whether someone's used it. From our own understanding of existence, we wouldn't be able to know if something's changed or not if they used it incorrectly. Because it's been all these notes say it's chaotic and different and whatever. So there is no definite way to predict it. It's just jumble craziness. That's why it's best that we have the code to use the device to make things better.
yeah, she's gonna. She kind of probably looks at it. She probably kind of goes, "I thought you might say something like that, but I was rather hoping you wouldn't." And she's like, she's like, "I must speak with the witch warper." And she kind of like casts an eye back at you as she's kind of getting ready to leave, and she's like, she's like, "You may come if you wish. It could be enlightening."
Yeah, let's go. Sounds like fun. Put my notes up in a safe spot and trail along.
All right. So you get over. You manage to get to Serold, who at this point, Serold, Harak, and Kalith are with you. They're you guys are kind of going over like you guys are kind of going over your thoughts, your plans, your notes, what have you. That you're kind of like, and it's kind of one of those sessions where it brings home to you that Calith's insights are useful and remind you why you keep him around despite his sometimes acerbic attitude. You know, Harak has essentially, he occasionally offers like some sort of like ground level insight onto his thoughts on, you know, various thises and that's, like particularly where it comes to where it comes to the more visceral elements of it, where you guys have seen people murdered or where you have, um, uh, what have you. That so, but this is about the time the and I'm sorry, guys. I'll be with you with Merch and the Evil Henchman and Shaba and whatnot in a minute. I complete this scene here. The but Isaki kind of walks in and while you guys are strategizing, and she's like, "I must speak with you."
Yeah, and
He's probably like in a chair, swivels around to look at her, and is like, Isaki, I was not expecting you. Nor you, Xander. I hope that this is worth the interruption.
We have both come to theories about what would happen if someone were to try to use the sifter without knowing how, without the key, or the, as Xander describes it, the code. I was wondering what your theories on it might be.
It is said that the sifter allows you to travel to another time or another place. Not necessarily without a different universe. A different time within our own. Correct?
Xander, from your studies, that it allows travel within your own dimension, within your own timeline, but it also allows travel outside of, if you have, like, you can break the walls to a certain extent without the sifter, going different like planes of existence and even timelines if you have like really tough powerful magic. But what the sifter can do is any timeline in any dimension, anywhere. So
Yeah, well, with the sifter, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. I mean, I realize you can go certain places, probably, but this thing allows you to go any dimension on any timeline with simple to no effort.
Such a thing is incredibly dangerous and should not be attempted. And he pulls out kind of probably like a hollow disc and clicks it on, and it's got basically a map of like the Pathfinder, Starfinder multiverse, where it's like, here's the material plane, here's the shadow realm, here's the outer planes, fire, all of that. And he's like, what we consider the multiverse exists within its own containment. Time and space. Time and space are not different things despite common nomenclature. An object can only exist within one time and one space. When magic is used to travel to another plane, and he takes like a dot and moves it from the material plane to the astral plane, you are completely separating yourself from your current time and your current place through mystical means. If the sifter allows you to do what I assume it would be able to given your description, he creates like another dot back in the material plane. You would have two identical objects existing within the same time, in the same place. But that is impossible. No. That is the issue. If two people exist within the same time in the same space, all reality begins to break down. You are essentially trying to thread the same piece of cotton into two different parts of a tapestry. It is impossible to do without tearing the threads. And when the tapestry begins to unravel, it is only a matter of time before it is completely reduced to its composite strings.
I think Isaki kind of like leans back, kind of leans back on her heels a little bit and pauses to think, and she's kind of and she fairly like fairly nervous, fairly like apprehensive, and she's like, have you been having strange dreams or meditations? And she looks at both of you.
Beyond the strange headaches that we all seem to have been experiencing, psychic screams that seem to be emanating from somewhere in the multiverse, that seem particularly adept at damaging those of us with some sort of mystical connection to this tapestry. I have had these strange feelings, yes.
And I would like everybody here to make, I would like everybody Twinkle, Isaki, and Serold all need to make saving throws here. Will saves.
Funny enough, Will is actually the bad save for witch warpers.
I know that is weird. All right. So give me perception checks now.
Oh, right after we close the screen. It's initiative. I think I'm gonna use my reroll for that for the day. My witch warper reroll.
Okay.
That was worth it.
So all three of you noticed that your star map changed. And there is a moment where you all sort of feel like that, where you all get an impression that that's the way it's always, so that the star map represents the way it's always supposed to have been. But then your mind makes some sort of snap back, and you realize that is not how it's always been, and you just witnessed it changed. It's like the universe was trying to pull a fast one on you.
Ah, crud. Somebody's already using it. Shit.
Serold frowns deeply and looks where it changed, and he's like, "It seems that we have the perfect example of what I was just talking about. Whoever is using the sifter is doing it in such a way that the universe is trying to correct whatever damage they are doing. If we don't stop them, the results would be catastrophic."
Isaki goes, I fear it's worse than that. The fact that we perceived this means we have become unstuck. In what way, I'm not certain, but the mere ability to perceive this change means something within us has changed. Something, we're no longer stuck.
Because
and she kind of
are more aware. Yeah. And all of us have some sort of mystical attunement. It's possible.
Actually, that's the funny thing. It's the funny thing. Xander's just a scholar. He's not a mystic at all.
Oh, I
his
thought
connection.
I thought he had some sort of magic ability.
Nope, he's an envoy. He's been snapped into this because of his research, because he's literally put himself in this. And whatnot. That's the only thing you can think of is that you immediately go
said something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you immediately. This is probably something you think of for like, we all have magical. Wait a minute, that guy's just a scholar. He doesn't have any magical ability. I wonder if it's his connection to this because he's been studying the shit out of it. Kind of moment.
There is a theory within science, within quantum physics, that states the mere observation of something changes the outcome. Perhaps because we are all aware of the sifter's power, and, he points to the map, we have in our hands a microcosm of what it is able to affect. We were, in essence, observing it as it was changing, creating two parallel timelines in which no one notices the change, and in which someone does.
And I'll take some psychic shock from that realization.
I cause psychic damage from too much big boy talk.
Well, my question is how many times has it changed already that we're not aware of? Yes, we saw this point.
Yeah, that's the point where we're probably like, oh fuck.
Yeah, this is the point where your minds have completely unstuck from the perspective, from the static perspective of this. You all take 12 points of psychic damage as the psychic realization and the sort of breaking of your minds over from this unstuck point, this unstuck static point. And I think I think you guys kind of like, and we should probably roll for Kalith and Harok too, because their connection to this is probably
Yeah.
would probably allow them by the same reasons. So that's good enough to give him a perception. Although Caleb doesn't get it though.
Caleb is too busy going, karma.
Yeah, he's too. Yeah, he's too busy like gay. He's worried about how much caramel is in. Harak notices it as well, and
So Tarak takes
12
12
points
damage.
damage. he's like the only one in the room who didn't get it was one of those people who probably should have, but he was distracted by not enough caramel in his cappuccino. Just like needs a bit more of the cappuccino.
Meanwhile,
this
everyone's
thing-
like, "Oh, my head!"
He's like, oh, I just realized shit. I'm not supposed to reel.
I've stared into
Yeah.
the void of the universe, and the stars stared back.
And maybe it's that thing where like we end on almost like a comic book panel sort of thing where like it's just Kayla staring at his fucking cappuccino with a thought bubble about needs more caramel, but in the background you see everybody like doing the thing, holding their heads and shit. And then we're gonna cut away real quick, and we're gonna cut over to Vesk 7, because first I need a quick scene with Merch and my evil henchman. So
Anyone there?
Merch
Yeah. I'm
and
here.
Nah.
Oh,
So
oh dear.
I need you guys. This scene is going to be all about what you guys are up to.
Oh,
you
do I
are
not get to
consolidating.
address? Do I not get to address them all as a group as like an introduction?
We don't actually have all of them here tonight.
Oh,
One of them I'm
shucks.
not sure where he's at. One of them actually had to work, but
Oh,
there is a scene we
okay.
are going to have that we'll kind of that we can have. You are in the your agents have arrived. One asset is already in place. One asset is guarding your shop, but you have one of them with you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scene where you are sort of mopping up some of the last of the local gangs. And I want the
Mm-hmm.
two of you to work together to give me the narrative of what this scene looks like and what the interplay between the two of you are. And Merch, you can actually narrate in. You have a couple of other no-name mercenaries with you,
Yeah.
because you have, not just like local street thugs, but actual mercenaries. As far as it goes, you can narrate, what kind of, where these, the last of these gang, people are, and how your assault on them goes down. But I'm going to give you the scene. Go for it.
So I like the idea of it being like right after the assault, Like
Okay.
we're
Fun.
walking through some like essentially future Arctic trap house. And like the mercenaries are like walking up to bodies and like pumping a shotgun round into their chest to make sure that they're down and stuff like that. And like what would Naw be doing in that situation?
Oh, he'd be
Yeah.
cleaning up too.
Oh, would he?
He would. He would be doing it chest first,
Nice. I
gnawing
like
his
it.
way through chests, out their mouths, and onto the next body.
Nom, nom, nom.
Fascinating. Very fascinating. Mr. Naw, is it?
Yes.
You seem to be a particular cut above the rest, at least in terms of novelty. But often the strangest ones contain quite the best bit of raw talent.
He just Gnaw pauses for a moment with a hunk of flesh and a withered paw, and just kind of regards you. Cocks his head a little bit to the side, and slowly takes a bite.
Excellent. Now, I have a question for you. Is your hunger able to be pointed at particular individuals? Meaning, would you have the
discretion to be hungry for a little bit just so you could strike at the right time?
He Nah just cocks his head to the other side.
Well, you see, I happen to have a couple high-value targets that stalking, attacking, harassing, even killing would be excellent. You see, there happens to be a ship. You may have been debriefed on this, but it is known as the Fire Shrike. Yes, that one from the newsreels. It contains a few personnel who my superiors would prefer to have, let's say, disappeared or, in your terms, digested. You see, they want Shaba at least to stay on this planet, but you are not going toe to toe with Shaba. No, Shaba would kill you. In fact, no one here is going to go toe to toe with Shaba. Shaba would kill every single one of us without even thinking. But you understand what happens when you have someone that powerful?
Yes.
You have to take out their circle. If you can't kill them physically, you have to kill their support network, their allies, their friends. Now, if you were able to target 3 people on that ship, I would say the 3 that I would want you to target would be the engineer on ship. What's his name again?
Whistlefizz.
Yeah, Whistlefizz. I would want you to target the new temporary crew member. She went under the name Nurse Jerkdazol. She shouldn't be hard to find. Drow elves are fairly rare around these parts. I will pay you outside of contract for both of them, fairly handsomely. But there's one target that I want you very much to tear asunder. My friend, have you ever dined on escargot?
He just shakes his head no.
Well, it's a delicacy in many places. There is a pesky doctor by the name of Glycil. The other 2 targets I have named I will pay handsomely. If you kill Glycil, I will pay you more than handsomely. Consider him persona non grata number 1. He'll be well guarded, especially because of his prescient abilities on their current charity mission. But if you find a way to tear that slug's invertebrate organs out from beneath his skin, I'll pay you incredibly well. Better yet, if you find a way to keep him trapped and bring him under my scalpel, maybe both of us could have some fun and you could get even more profit.
At that, Naw will drop the hunk of meat and bloody. He's like covered in blood right now. He just reaches out the non-withered paw for a handshake.
Yeah, he takes his elf fan and he shakes your hand and he says, "My friend, please, feast. Meat's meat, and a rat's got to eat."
Nice. Nice. And I think, yeah, and just to describe, like, maybe the bodies around here, like, some of them are, like, obviously some of them are, half eaten, some of them have been shot to death. There's a few that have a couple of syringes and needles sticking out of them. Um, you know, they're just sort of like this carnage of, these people were clearly violently overwhelmed. Um, it's so, and it's a pretty nasty fucking sight here, bloodbath, if you will.
I would like to add one detail.
Okay.
Merch has adopted a sort of tag, essentially.
Yeah.
It's simply like an engraved like Times New Roman style M in a circle.
Mhm.
And he basically everywhere he has hit has had that emblazoned on it, as does every can of Blizzard that he puts out. He wants people to know he's the player in town and you don't fuck with him.
Nice.
Right, heads on turtles, got it.
You got it.
Nice, nice. And I think as we like sort of like we get uh and you probably have like there's this guy like this merch fellow, he's this Raxolite who seems to own the room a lot more than his presence should suggest, or his diminutive stature should suggest. The like he's got places and bases, like he's built up like a warehouse that he's manufacturing out of, and he's got like a little bar that he kind of converted over into a place as well. So he's got a
He's
little bit of
wheeling and dealing. Gotcha.
so he's
Yes.
got a little bit of place where it's a few places where you can find to crash yourself out, or you know hide the odd dead body.
Oh, and there is one thing. Merch probably would do it when he's addressing everybody, but
Mhm.
just so your character knows, Merch has basically said, listen, I don't care what kind of trouble you get into. Like, that's your business. If you need help out of a situation, I will more than happily help you out of a situation, so long as you're effective. I will give you every resource that you need within my own capability. So, like, he's very much welcomed you. Stay where you need to. If you want a place, ask. We'll try and get it. He's very easy to work with for a crime lord.
He's a crime lord that actually cares about keeping his men loyal.
You know what?
The,
It trickles down, right?
right,
Oh, hell
right.
yeah.
With that in,
Reaganomics of crime.
with
There you go.
right,
Merchonomics.
the with that understanding, Nah, how many bodies off mission have you made disappear? He's just, are you like sticking to mission when it comes to eating, or are there times where you grab yourself a snack?
He is constantly hungry, so he will eat whenever he is presented with the
Okay.
opportunity.
Okay. So there's probably a couple of people missing by now. There's
I
probably
mean,
a few like
honestly, like, there's a couple bodies missing because of merch, too. So, like,
oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
big thing is this is partially a PsyOps campaign. So, like, Nah fits in perfectly. He's causing terror.
Yeah. You're and I think we switch over to Shaba. Shaba loyalty, dash zero, is kind of like heading back out to, ostensibly continue his investigations and what have you. You are starting to get word back from like the people you've had in town. The blizzard isn't as bad as it was. However, there's a new blizzard to concern yourself with. A drug called Blizzard. You are hearing about Murch's new drug having hit in the street and his new symbol that he's leaving. Um, he there and you're pretty sure that because you're like, and maybe it's like Rec is reporting this is like, he's like, and they're telling me now that there have been a few people who've come up missing. Now, whether that's due to, getting lost in the blizzard and dying out in the cold from exposure, which tends to happen sometimes, or it could be Dr. Deeshborg's handiwork. They say that the rumor is that he's got some money behind him. He's got some mercenaries that are working with him. So you're but so far we haven't been able to bring him to ground. there's a new development too. Real new. As in, just heard about this afternoon. They found the scene of one of the local gangs, and well, let's just say they didn't find much left of them. There were the to be fair, there weren't much left but bones. Picked clean. My understanding is they didn't go clean. It weren't no fire that picked them clean. The skin was torn off the bone. They said the sheriff wanted to know if you might help with the forensics investigation. I almost offered my services, but I figured as the commander of this operation, you may want to look into it personally.
Oh, I definitely want to.
Yeah, he's like, he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, I can take you to the side of the most recent find. I went and saw the scene myself. I don't know. He says my analysis of it was that whatever happened there was very quick. It was very brutal. There were, you know, and as far as the body count goes, not real easy to corroborate how many people should have been there, but there were a number of people they suspected should have been there. And well, let's just say the bones we found don't equal enough complete skeletons for that. In fact, some of the bones don't even match with some of the other bones.
Interesting. Yeah. Take me to the site.
Yeah, so he kind of like he gives you gathers up the PLF crew because as in charge of security, he knows it's probably a good idea to bring a couple of people who can fight, i.e., like Squibble and Toffa. Which, by the way, since I'm thinking about it, SQ. Da, 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 da. Oops, there we are. And there we are. And Codex, you now have control of Squibble. So if Squibble needs to make any rolls, we'll let you know. But otherwise, you don't have to do a whole lot.
Okay.
Because Squibble's kind of quiet anyway. He could speak up if you want him to, but Quevelin is definitely interested in coming. You're leaving. As you're leaving the Spitfire. Loyalty walks right back by you, going back into the ship. And when you see him, he just kind of looks at you and goes, so, forgot something. And then goes back in. And Rek is kind of like, all right. He's like, he's like, it'll be this way. And
Okay.
kind of goes to lead the way. When you arrive on the scene, it is pretty much as described. The place has been pretty well wrecked. There are bones, there is blood, there is windows broken out, doors off their hinges, and there are it looks like something savage happened here. You do find a couple of needles that are tossed to the side, and what have you. Rick is like, just kind of looks around and says, as far as it goes, I imagine Whistlefizz could probably do an analysis of the needles and to verify whether or not they're, as I suspect, from Murch's own gun.
Oh, don't forget that there's the M just emblazoned
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yeah, and like there is the simile. He goes, you know, always got to make sure you build the strong case. And he says, other than that, I'd be real curious about them bones.
Shaba goes over and picks up a bone and just starts examining it.
Give me a medicine check. It's very clear to you that the meat on this bone was chewed off very distinctively, the teeth marks. And matter of fact, looking at him, you're pretty sure Quevelin would be able to or any of your other, at the very least, would be able to would be able to verify this, or Dr. O'Wally, maybe even Rec would be able to, uh, you know, sort of like back this up. But those are those are those are Yisekai teeth. Has to be, given the size, the spacing, and given the given the sizing and the spacing of how big the jaws would have had to have been and the teeth would have had to have been to do it the way this was done. These people were eaten by a Yisekai, probably.
Rek, have a look at the teeth mark. Tell me what you think.
You kind of he looks at them and he goes, "Is that what I think it is? I mean, really? I think," he says, "looks like a Yisekai cannibal of some sort ate these people.
That's what I'm thinking."
Either that or a giant rat, and I ain't seen any giant rats around here."
Who make all of the rules?
Quevelin probably just walking by and glances at it and goes, "It was Yisekai." He just kind of glances at it and fucking looks around. And Quevelin, of course, now actually has started dressing for adventure because apparently he's realized that some of his memories of his abilities have come back to him, so he can actually use his gear now.
Slit.
It's like, I don't like the. He says, I don't like to, I don't like to be a glum individual, but this don't look good. This is this is downright evil. We're gonna have to deal something about this.
Yep, going to.
Hmm.
What type? What's the building we're in?
It is essentially it is a building where people it's a trap house kind of. It's a flop house where drug addicts and low end drug dealers kind of congregate.
Okay.
It probably belongs to somebody who doesn't give a shit, who puts graffiti all over the walls, and is probably maintained only for this purpose. Whoever owns it probably doesn't actually live here.
Question: were there civilian casualties?
Only in so much as you consider drug addicts and drug dealers civilian casualties.
Goody.
The says we've been getting reports that there are other people that have gone missing that there's no proof they were connected to any of this, but given the general nature of this Dr. Deishborg, I'd say it's a fair bet that he's tied to it somehow.
Well, if that M means anything, I think it's him.
Well, I imagine it's probably him here, but I was more pontificating about the possibility of him being involved in disappearances.
If the person he had on the fire Shrike is any indication, he has at least some of those people disappeared. And I'm sure our ravenous little rat friend, whoever it is, might be responsible for one or two.
This is, yeah, he's like, and he just kind of shakes his head. And I think probably Toffa and Squibble are kind of looking around in disgust as well. Well, I don't know. Maybe Squibble's looking around in disgust. Kind of hard to tell. He's a squid person, so a
Yeah.
little bit hard to read his emotions sometimes.
That's okay.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, and I think probably our final scene here. I actually want to
I got
do. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I got one thing. As we're walking out, I make sure
Uh-huh.
everybody's out first. I
Mhm.
turn around in the door, have one of the side compartments in one of my cybernetic legs open up, and pull out a dead battery pack. And go.
Hell
Here's
yeah.
my signature.
Nice.
Fireball. They throw explosive blast at the house. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just,
I just incinerate it.
The definition of I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball.
Actually, I believe we're thinking of another meme. We're thinking of, while an arrow is a specifically mailed letter, a fireball is to whom it may concern.
You know
I like
what?
that
I
one.
like that. I like that. It works. And I think maybe like we end probably with like a split screen of like that splits up to like all the different people and groups and what they're all doing. Like maybe Serold and Xander like trying to and company trying to recover from their headaches, while Kalith is looking around like, what's going on here? And Shaba and company kind of like walking away from the burning fucking trap house, and fucking we get we get like Ashira. What does Ashira's final scene look like? Is she still dealing with bullshit, or is she, doing something? Uh, is she like kicking back, relaxing? What is Ashira's send off for tonight?
I think she's probably diving into the menial tasks and stuff to just try to, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Right, right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe like at the computer, just like going through like the files and shit,
Yeah.
and fucking, maybe even like maybe even like looking at the new sensors as they're kind of like getting worked on or what have you, directing traffic. And we probably get Plu in the shot with Ashira as well, bringing her a cup of coffee. And this time he remembered to bring one for himself as well. Oh boy. uh, and we get like Zai, who is probably, what is Zai doing in like the final scene of tonight, like in this his corner of the split screen.
He's probably finally showing up for that meeting so he can get from the actual diplomat.
Okay, well, he's kind of on his way to this catch up with Tarek Kahan and such. All right.
Yes.
Kahan. Hi, Despot Kahan. Yeah, and Drasket is probably with you too. Actually, I think Drasket went with Tarek Kahan, so yeah, he'd probably be with. And I think we get like, who am I missing? And we get Vesa and Nurks. Well, we actually get we get we'll wait. Vesa and Nurks will be the split screen we described. What does Oliver Burns' section of the split screen look like here as he's sort of like settling in? Oliver?
Daniel.
I hit the mute button sometime a long time ago.
Oh.
Holy crap. I did not even realize I hit it. He is just like in the menagerie. He's already in the lab. Like the guy who did the little inspection left, and he's like, "This won't do," and he's just rearranging the entire thing.
It's just in
That's That's what
the medical
literally
bay or the
every
science?
scientist that
Yep.
we have on this show does.
It's
The
great.
first day on
Yep.
the ship, they go organization mode.
Oh, this ain't
Yep.
organization. This is baronization. He has to make room for himself to get everywhere. It's like,
Yep.
can't
Technically,
fit in here.
no,
Stuff.
you don't. We have gear that will help with that.
Well, he actually took a feat that also helps with that too. It's just the narrative of
Yeah.
just because you can squeeze into a place doesn't necessarily mean you don't want elbow room.
Yeah.
You know, I get what he's doing here. So,
Or as Merch would call
um,
it, Lebensraum.
Ha.
Mhm.
and I think we get like a side deal of what is of Na probably chewing on somebody, uh, chewing on some dead person. I would imagine.
You just see
Right?
the camera scan by, and he's just sitting there smacking on some poor schmuck's arm as the camera pans past and it fades to the next
Yeah.
person.
Who's a
Yeah.
hungry boy?
And then we get like Burn Ward, who is what is Burn Ward doing? He's been rather like
Yeah.
he's been kind
He-
of low key this.
Completely
He
quiet.
sets he has set himself up in a far corner near the Kasathan barracks, essentially.
Mhm.
And he is drinking, listening to very loud space metal, and punching a punching bag very violently, like coordinated
Awesome.
but violently.
Oh, nice, nice. And I think the final scene, like the final box in, like the final box is the box in the split screen is Nurx and fucking Vesa, and it's like there is a moment where there's a perspective of the two of you like meeting up with this Patra who has I don't know, I feel like his markings are maybe sort of close to a cheetah almost, sort of his fur patterns and whatnot. Um, and kind of talking to this guy who is just kind of like standing there, who's standing there talking to them. Um, and maybe we get like just the hint of a shadow flutter by the camera, and then we fade out, and then we go out. And that will get started on sign-offs from here. So everybody mail me your Player's Choice Awards, and I believe Merch needed to go
Yes.
first
Yes,
tonight,
yes, yes.
so we'll go ahead and start with him.
All right, I'll keep this one brief. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike, also known as Win 5, Get 1 Free. You've caught me tonight playing one character mainly. I can't wait to play some more Burn Ward, but I love playing Merch. The lovable little radish man who is employing a cannibal and definitely going cartel style out here. You can also catch me on Thursdays where I run Project Severovo, where I have officially mostly broken my players. I still have more things to do to just make their lives more confusing and agonized, and just, man, I just want to make them scared, which that's my whole goal. You also can catch me every other Saturday on the Bitter Ends, where I'm playing Greasy, the way not as cool as he thinks he is news, who is very much vomiting on people because he hasn't eaten in 3 days, and only drank tropical tiki drink and smoked cigarettes. So that's kind of what happens. And other than that, you can catch me on various Justice Grab Bags and Black Box Theaters. And that is me for tonight.
Awesome. Who needs to go next?
I can go.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amy again. I had a really short scene because life is so sorry. When I'm not in this, I'm also in in the bitter ends, getting my toes thrown up on, which is gross. It was awful.
You
And
did succeed at not making it awkward.
thank you. So important that happened. um, and then Sundays, I'm in Cosmos. I play 2 different characters. I'm either Lita, the orc barbarian, who doesn't have a lot to say. She's just a big tank, or Stella, the elf Duskwalker, and she's wonderful, and I love her. And that's me.
Awesome. And I need your Player's Choice Award.
Ooh, and I will go next, so
right.
Ashira can go and then go home or go to bed.
Yeah, thank you.
But I will
Yeah.
also send
Yep.
you my Player's Choice. On that same note, tonight I played Captain's Eye, a 6'4" Kasathan who has got 4 arms and kind of looks like Goro. I also play in the Bitter Ends as Lemmy Pops. And just so you know, in 2 Saturdays, we will be rocking the world that we're on, causing crazy things to happen and possibly summoning magic beasts from the deep. So if you're into heavy metal and the apocalypse, come check us out. We're having a lot of fun. And there might even be a James sighting if we don't name some people what he said. And I'm down for that because I like James in the Apocalypse. And past that, my friend Purple Codex and my friend Damien Gedden both sell t-shirts at tpublic.com. They are amazing. They are fantastic. They are awesome. They are epic. And this commercial is so epic that James will now take over and finish.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Twitch Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great Merchsade, towards which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the internet are upon you. The hopes and prayers of every epic-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave Teespring campaigns on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the YouTube war machine and elimination of the unlawful copyright strike tyranny over the oppressed peoples of the internet, and epicness for ourselves in a free world. Good luck, and let us beseech that there be no ethics upon this great and noble undertaking.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
On the Codex.
Are you dying? You okay? You need a water?
I think he wasn't ready for Eisenhower's D-Day speech to be made into a Purple Codex commercial.
Are you gonna be okay, bro?
It was great. I'll be fine.
I'm Purple Codex. I don't know. I don't have anything planned as far the next couple weeks because I just quit my 3rd job, and so I was like, I'm tired and I just need to catch up on sleep. And just be lazy.
Jesus, woman.
Yeah, I can't. So yeah, I quit Dunham's. Now I'm just at Walmart and door dashing. So it's just too much. I was fucking exhausted all the time. Anyway, I will be here or should be here next Monday. I'm pretty sure I'm off. I'm pretty sure they scheduled me off, so I should be fine. But it is Walmart, so.
Otherwise, space diarrhea.
But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back then. So yeah.
Oh, I still haven't ever seen my thing. I'm sorry, Sean.
You lied to Jesta.
You did. And I also need Nightheart's Player's Choice as well.
I thought I said that. I got distracted looking for something.
And
right,
Oliver, I need you as well.
I sent mine. Oh, I sent it in the chat.
No,
okay, I'll do
no.
someone that's not a henchman.
I know. We'll do something special there because that was pretty good. So
it's gonna come through Discord because I'm waiting on my computer to reconnect. But I'll send it.
All right. Discord's half of everybody sends it on Roll20 and half send it on Discord. So, all right. With that said, let's see. We've got what? Who goes next? Who do we want to go next?
Someone
Volunteers.
Awesome.
I tell you what.
Ward done it yet?
Yeah, he was the first one.
Fuck it,
Yeah,
I can
win
go.
5, get 1. As I say,
Yeah.
let's do
I
that.
love Sam.
Hi ho, friendolos. My name is James, otherwise known as Nightheart. You caught me here today playing Cyril Silverchild, who might as well be called S, because he's pretty much L, except hopefully he doesn't get murdered by a book, but who knows, we'll see. He might get murdered by the Book of the Mind, because he's thinking too much. And thinking is bad, as brought to you by the Fire Shrike. You can also find me here on Wednesdays, where I play Delude, the deluded crazy man who has a fun ability where he can just mentally command people in an entire zone to die, and they're just like, yeah, sounds good, and then they fall over. So that's fun. Or you can find me here on Thursdays in Project Severova, where I kind of play Olzek Malganovich, the KGB spook who got spooked because another spook outspooked him. But the fourth wall doesn't exist, and I'm scared, and I'm going to go home crying. And also, we're playing Phasmophobia within it now, because we're trying to find a ghost, and we have yet to find a room where one goes, "E." So that's spooky. You can also find me here on Sundays playing a hell of a lot of different characters, including soon, and I'm excited for this one. Be there for it. Tricket Goodmoney, the Goblin Cleric of Torag. The Goblin Cleric who's also a merchant, and one of the things that says on the sign that he has strapped to his back like a fucking battle flag is all guarantees not guaranteed. So, whether you buy from him is your mistake or not. And that's me.
All right. Let's go with Nah. How about we get Bologna Jelly sign off here?
Yeah, sure. Let's get me out of the way here. This is Bologna Jelly, also known as Gnaw, the Bore Isekai, who has an appetite for all things recently slain. And well, this is you can catch me here every Monday night till not as a guest star. But you can catch us for Don't Seattle for Anything Less Tuesday nights, and where I play Slag Heat. Maybe it's a troll, probably the giant of a giant that just likes to basically smash things. Um, and on a less enjoyable to him, he does not enjoy petrophages nearly as much. Other than that is all from me. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to the next person, whoever that might be.
All right. Let's get Xander.
Okay, Scott, like I don't even want to go through them. Pick something. I got to play Xander, and I learned a lot today as my brain fully explodes from seeing the reverse change. Ow. Yeah. Still think it's important to figure that out. Anyways, so what else am I in? Tomorrow night, I'm in the Don't Settle for Anything Less as Sir. Little dude that hacks into machines and makes machines do what he wants and all that. Stole an egg or something and gave it back, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. That's a little confusing. Okay. Then on Wednesday, we're in the Hinge to Minch, where I play Knight, where Knight got slapped in the face because he did something to not die. But that's okay. And I made a friend with the shadowy dude because I give him snack cakes. Let's see. Then every other Saturday, which won't be this Saturday, but the next Saturday, blah blah blah. We're in the Bitter End, where I play Castiel, which saved everyone's bupkis because he tried to figure out how to just drive away.
And he did a good job.
Yeah.
I am a child.
Meanwhile, yeah, the child threw fits. It was great.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I can't remember anything else. My brain's kind of shot.
All right. Cool. Then let us go to Oliver Byrne.
Greetings, I'm Oliver Byrne, and I played Sassy. Wait. No. What up? I'm Sassy McNasty. I played Oliver Byrne. I love Oliver. He's great. You'll get to learn so much more about him upcoming things he can do. Imagine being able to be healed from anywhere without even making any rolls. It's great. Anyways, you can catch me here on Wednesday as the Shadow Dude, as Xander put it, aka I almost said Dusk Puppy. Fuck. Night.
What the fuck?
Shadow Hound, a Shadow Hound. There we go. Who everyone just called Dusk Puppy, and it's starting to stick. And will he do it for a snack cake? Oh, yes, I will. So, God damn it. Yeah, he's turning into Scooby Doo. But really, he's the most vicious person you'll ever meet. And on every other Saturday, you can catch me as in a third world country, off in the distance, a starving child needs your help. We are putting on a concert, a mega concert on an oil rig far, far away. Come, bring funds and food for that poor, starving child named Eot, who actually just eats metal. But yeah, I play Eot, a wild child who he eats metal. It's great. Rusty metal, solid candy. He loves it. Beyond that,
And he's had 2 people in the party go, "Yes, I'm the big bad wolf."
yes, he keeps trying to take the guitar away from the guitar player because he's a wolf and it sounds like metallic screeching and he hates it. Beyond that, you can catch me Sundays for Cosmos as Kira Kasaki, the rat folk, aka Isekai, who just wants to use his curse of death on Sheila, that stupid pixie. Oh, goddamn Sheila. And also Samir Amari, the Winter Touch human cleric, and Akif Frostwalker, the dragon turned human barbarian duo. And when you put ice against ice, we become useless. Yeah, I think that's everything that wraps around on Monday. I can count.
All right. And I believe that takes us to Brian Shaba.
Yes, I'm Brian. I played Shaba Young tonight, and with all that's happening on Vesk 7, the showdown is coming. It's going to be soon. I don't know if that week, the week after, but definitely coming. And Merch may or may not be right about being able to take me out or not. We'll have to see. Beyond that, you can find me on Tuesdays playing Don't Seattle for Anything Less, where I play Sakura, the cybernetically and bio-enhanced Elven Street Samurai, where I let slice and dice and punch things, and occasionally have slag heap throw me places. And moment, that's about it.
All right. Cool. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Kind of jumped around a little bit and out of order.
Amy? Okay.
I think we did.
You missed me, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I went.
Oh, I didn't even know. Jesus, you weren't logged into Roll20, or I would have had you in.
I've been here.
Oh shit!
I did not know you were here. I am so sorry.
Oh, no.
I would have definitely had you. I mean, you could have easily been like, "All right, because that scene with the merchant and henchman was meant to be merchant and henchman. I just didn't see you signed into Roll20, so I didn't know you were here."
It's okay. When you said one of the henchmen was out and about and the other one was watching the door, I figured I was one of those two.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Go ahead and do a side off, Ben. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, man. I'm the Computer King, the supervillain of streaming, and I was not playing Relique Party today. The priest of Nyarlathotep, who's always on the lookout for killers and crazy people to convert to his cause. And on Wednesdays, I run from hench to mensch, where my lovely henchmen, yes, hench to mensch is literally about henchmen, are running around trying to figure out why there's a rolling series of blackouts / EMPs shutting off all the power and electricity. So Sunday, though, I'm playing in Cosmos as Eliadra's Night Eye, the elven monk yeet master who throws his opponents around like nothing.
What the
And Corin Deadblade, the wizard who walks like a fighter, who got cock blocked by Amy's character,
Only a couple times.
but isn't mad. He ain't mad. And that's it for me.
You still have Earth and Wind you have to go.
The word of the day brought to you by Paradise Theater is Yeet Master.
I'm dead. I just.
Oh,
Good night,
God.
everybody.
I think that brings it back to me. And we'll get the bookkeeping out of the way first. Everybody give yourself 1,000 experience points for the session. And today's player's choice is a tie between Ashira and Merch. So each of you give yourself, each of you give yourself 350 extra XP.
Yay.
Yeah. So, awesome.
Did he say lame?
No, I didn't say lame.
Did he say lame?
Not me.
No, not you. It was sexy. He's like, hey.
No, I was like, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Computer King, the gesture is an experience proof. Eventually, you'll be powerful.
It's in any case, with that said, I am the Just the King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for Fire Shrike, our flagship show, my favorite group of space pirates, space terrorists, and never-do-wells. You can also catch me here tomorrow or any other Tuesday night. Well, for as long as we're doing it anyway, for Don't Seattle for Anything Less, where I play Salvo, the cocky elven combat mage who loves fireballs as much as Shaba does. And you can also sometimes catch me on my other channel of Zerat playing video games. So if you like to watch somebody play video games and make sarcastic comments about them, well, maybe you might check me out sometime. And let's see, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to see all the energy and craziness, watch us on Twitch at Paradise Theater with _ between each word. And if you are watching on Twitch and you're like, Jesus, I want to go back and I want to listen to that again and see what so-and-so really said and relive that moment and blah, 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 you can catch us on YouTube at Paradise Theater. And if you are looking for scheduling updates, community interaction, and occasionally some opinions on things sci-fi and nerd related, then you can catch us out. And there's one more thing you can find there. Something about
memes.
Hot
memes, I repeat. Hot memes.
Not enough loogie in that. Try again.
Hot memes.
There you go.
Oh, exactly. You can catch us at Para Theater on Twitter. With that said, I believe that is all we have. Let's get an RAP Fern and get out of here. RIP Fern.
R.I.P. Fern.